Hey, I'm Kenny Belay, and you're watching Super Rider.
How awesome is that? I'm excited to share this video with you. I recently got to hang out with Kenny Belay at the Sea Otter Classic, which is one of the biggest mountain bike events in the USA. Before we go any further, let me tell you a little bit about Kenny Belay. Although he's been an icon in our sport for quite some time, there's a lot of new riders watching this, and not everyone has followed the UCI competition scene. Here's a little context to who Kenny is and why he's an important figure in our sport. Kenny Belay is a Belgian trials rider who's competed at the elite level for as long as I can remember. He's been crowned world champion in the elite category many times, and he's one of the few riders at that level who's gone well beyond the competition circuit to help build our sport. He's done trials demos all over the world in some extremely high-profile places, and he's produced more than a few insane riding videos. I think my favorite is the time he put the slackline over a canyon and rode across it. That was insane. He's also done some super creative stuff with his bike, like all the bike art projects he's been producing the past few years. He also runs a demo team in Europe called Pedal to the Metal, and for a long time he was our representative to the UCI for trials. The list goes on, but you get the idea of how big of an impact he's made on our sport, both on the bike and off the bike. Kenny's been working really hard to try to help the sport of trials grow all over the world, mostly in Europe, but he's been turning his attention recently to the United States. And he's been working on this event called the Bentonville Bike Fest, which is June 17th through the 19th. And it's going to be not only a national level contest, but there's also a UCI level contest. This is a huge deal for all the American riders. Registration actually starts today, so I'm going to put a link below if you want to register for the event. There's everything from mountain bikers to beginner riders, all the way up to elite riders. I have a treat here. Not only was I able to film Kenny while he was riding his demos at Sea Otter, but we also had some time afterward to sit down and talk about how this Bentonville Bike Fest came to be.
So when I went to Bentonville 11 years ago already, I was hired to do a demo, and the people really liked it. And I didn't know it, but the guys that are like running the show there, I might say, they have a trials background as well. So the people, the person, Gary's his name, Gary Vernon, behind the whole mountain bike capital of the world, 800 miles of trails, and all the investment they have done, is actually a diehard trials rider. So he loves the idea, and he totally supports us, and that's how I found this amazing place like Bentonville that happened to be the mountain bike capital of the world that also loves trials biking, and it was actually a no-brainer. It just needed somebody to make it happen, and I always made it happen in Europe, and now I'm trying to make it happen here.
The Bentonville Bike Fest is a huge deal for the American trial scene. As far as I can remember, the last time we had a UCI level trials event in the United States, it was 2001. So while having this event is a really huge deal, we need to do more things in the United States to help the sport grow. And one of the questions I had for Kenny was what he thinks we could be doing over here besides hosting this event to help the sport grow so that even more riders show up next year for the event.
The essence of making a sport, any sport, bigger is to have a regular training session or jam or whatever. Like let's say every Sunday morning from 10 to 12, we gather and we ride. And then people will come because people like structure. So if they know it's on Sunday and I'm not riding alone, this is where it's happening. You'll see you have 2 people, 3 people, 5, and then after 1 or 2 years you end up with having 20 people. And just make it accessible, make it fun, just jam, hang out, have fun, encourage each other, and that's how your sport will grow, honestly. Don't always train alone. That's one of the key things.
We filmed everything at Kenny's Sea Otter trials demo, and one of the things that's unique about Kenny, as someone who is a top World Cup rider, was that he even did demonstrations at all. A lot of World Cup riders don't want to take their time away from training to go and do shows, but Kenny travels all over the world doing demonstrations. In fact, he and I had even collaborated on a bunch of NBA shows back in the day. So I asked Kenny how he got started doing demos in the first place.
In the beginning, it's because I was asked to do it, so I was like, hey, trials was always a demo sport, so you automatically do it, and I really enjoyed doing it. And then also, not anymore, but back in the days, it was the only way to make money from your sport. So it was also like my job next to competing, which was competing should be the job, but as we all know, that doesn't really bring the money. So it was, and now it's like a great way for to give back to your sponsors. I mean, I'm here for Pirelli at Sea Otter, the prime event, and the trial show is something that's been done for, I don't know, since the birth of trials, and it's just people love it. It's that's why I think trials is such a powerful marketing tool.
All I can say is that we're extremely lucky to have people like Kenny and his team putting together the Bentonville Bike Fest. It's going to be a huge boost for the sport of trials and hopefully get a bunch of new people into the sport as well. The event is still a couple months away, so if you want to continue polishing your skills so that you're competition ready, go hit up this playlist right here, and we'll see you in Bentonville.